Season 2 of The Last of Us is now in the books. Oh boy. Okay, so I just finished watching the finale. Like just now, like 5 minutes ago. I just finished watching the finale. And this is something where it's going to be a bit different from my season 1 review, mainly because I still have not played part 2. I've not played the game, but I knew some of the things that happened. So when I heard that, when the second game came out and I heard some of the things, so this is going to be a spoiler review for season 2, because there's a lot of stuff in this that I really can't discuss without potentially spoiling it. So if you have not seen season 2 yet, back out. Or if you probably want to just hear me go off, you're more than likely going to get what you wanted. Because I'm going to say this. This was very disappointing. Now, let's start from what I knew what was going to happen. I knew that in the game, they killed Joel off. I knew that. I knew some of the things that happened in the game. The only things I really knew about from the game was Joel getting killed off and Ellie going on a revenge quest. Instead of it being like season 1 where it's a I forget the word. Escort mission. If you get from point A to point B, which honestly, I'm really kind of calling out. I wouldn't say much, but a lot of stuff nowadays like to do that kind of thing where it's like the escort mission, and it's been done numerous times and in great ways, like season 1 of The Last of Us. Then I'm like, okay, we don't need to do this anymore. So I understand if they didn't want to do that this time. I get it. And besides, it'd be different if there was no second game. It felt, different, something like Game of Thrones, where I think the first 6 seasons, they were based on the books, and then the last 2, they didn't have any books, so they just wrote a whole bunch of stuff, and from what I've heard, it's very disappointing. I don't know, because I've not seen that show. So I can't say much about it, but anyway. So there were a couple of things I knew they were going to do in this that I don't really want to see that, but I know they're going to do it. Joel getting killed off, it ticked me off. It really did. But I knew that was what was going to happen. I will say this. I commend them for trying to do something different. But I want to remind you, I've not played the second game, so I don't know much about what happens. But what they did was very disappointing, and the writing was not very good. It was very all over the place. You're going from this mission of Ellie and her lover, was it Deanna? And I'm like, okay, I understand, but they're going to go find Abby. But then you also have the side plot with this cult that lives in the forest, and then this army group of wolves called the Wolves. And I'm like, you could have taken all that out, because as much as I love Jeffrey Wright, he's one of my favorite actors. I think he was great in Craig's run as Bond. He was also really good in Westworld. He's one of my favorite actors. He did not need to be here. That whole subplot could have easily been taken out or not explained as much. So it kept you guessing, okay, what is this? Like, and it was the show don't tell, which they did, but it was just so random and conjoined, like it was thrown in there at last minute. The biggest thing that I hated was the transformation of Ellie's character, where from the first one, she was a little annoying, but it was in that, like purposely bugging you, like purposely poking you with a stick. And it was Joel and Ellie's chemistry together. It was the way it was written that made it work. It made us care. Fuck it now. Fuck all that shit. Because in here, she's a rebellious young adult that I understand she wants to do what she wants to do, but doesn't understand that what you're doing is so goddamn reckless. You are going to get people killed. You are going to get people killed. You're going to make stupid decisions. And, when people around you are trying to survive, it's the right choice. It's not a good one, but I understand you want to save them, but sometimes in survival, you can't be a hero, and it sucks. It really sucks because you do want to save people, but in order to save yourself, you can't intervene. That's why, when Jesse gets more involved towards the end, and the wolves like kidnap a member of the that cult, Ellie wants to jump in and save him, and Jesse's like, no, like, don't. And I'm like, I totally agree with him. Like, I understand you want to save them. I understand that. But in this case, it's reckless. And besides, he even said it, there's 6 of them and 2 of us. I have an assault weapon. You have 2 pistols. They all have assault weapons. Who is going to win? Who's going to get out of this alive? So I totally understood why she wants to do it, but she's not understanding what she's doing is reckless. And also just, her complete, like, yeah, screw you attitude. I'm just like, I don't care anymore. It sucks because, yeah, you started out not being likable in season 1, but then we got to know you. And especially after, in season 1, her encounter with David the Cannibal, you totally felt bad because it was like, oh my God, this is awful. This is unbelievable. And then it was the end. It was the end of that where Joel came in and they embraced, and he said the line we all wanted to hear, which is, I got you, baby girl. And that made us be happy. Fuck it now. Fuck all that. And even at the end where she's like, oh, Abby's over here. And then Jesse's like, yeah, but we got to go over here. She's just like, you look out for other people. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of what you need to do to survive. Look at Joel. Yes, you were cargo at first, and his job was to not think of himself. It was to look after you. You're not understanding that. It made me want to just kind of like, put on a boxing glove, but on it said sense, and just punch and just be like, now it makes sense. And yeah, and the fact that, she goes in with no really like little training and all this stuff, just was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you thinking? Like, what do you think is going to happen? So, I honestly brushed it off. I brushed off the season after, I think, episode 2. After episode 2, I was like, I'm done. But I finished the season because I really enjoyed the first season, and, I'll say this, the first game is actually one of my favorite games of the decade it came out in, the 2010s, because of its storytelling and because of its characters and the fact that its writing is what nailed it. Screw it. Screw it now. And they said like, oh, season 3 is probably going to be this. And I'm like, yeah, but no, I don't want that. What I kind of wanted was you have Ellie and Joel. They've kind of drifted a little bit. You could still have that whole thing of Ellie is still trying to still figuring out like what really happened, and she does. You can still have that. But you have Abby and her group come in, but instead of grabbing Joel, they can't find him, so they grab Tommy instead, knowing that Joel will be the one to come and get him, so they can lure him. And so then Joel and Ellie go and get him, and the whole season is them rekindling their relationship and trying to get past it and healing. And it was their chemistry together that made it work. And with you taking that away, it just falls on its fucking face. And I don't understand that. And sometimes I always look at a adaptation of a video game. It says you need to be like the game. This case was like, it's okay to change stuff. It's perfectly fine. So, I mean, I do not think this season was completely and utter crap. There were some things in there that I did like. The few times where we got to see Ellie and Joel together, mainly in episode 6, where it was right after the end of season 1 into where they are at the beginning of season 2. It's that whole time of what happened between then and now. I liked what they did. And I'm like, see, this makes the show. And to have them just completely take it away, I understand it's part of the game, but it's something that's like, this could have changed. It honestly reminded me of the new Halloween trilogy, where it's like, okay, I guess, but I wouldn't have done that. I would not have written it this way. Like, I would have done this. I would have done this. And instead, you do this, and to have it on a cliffhanger where, honestly, I was not shocked. I was going, are you fucking kidding me? Like, seriously? You're going to do this? And I heard it's from the game. But still, I was like, come on. Like, are you kidding me? So, season 3, you're going to probably have to really persuade me to watch it because of the way that the writing was just so jumbled, and it just at times didn't make any goddamn sense. Do I think this is a bad season? Not entirely. There is enough good in there that I think it can keep you entertained and keep you watching until the end. But personally, would I watch this again? Probably not a good time to ask me that question. So because this is a spoiler one, I really don't rate them. But I would say this was just fine. There was some good ideas they had. There was some stuff that I'm like, okay, you guys are bringing this from the game. I respect that, but this honestly needs to change. Or some stuff in there where it's like, okay, that's from the game. I understand you want to bring that in here, but this does not fit with this current story you're telling. So maybe you should have changed that, or brought that in later, or didn't write it as much and kept audiences guessing, okay, what are they doing? And slowly but surely bring it in. So that, I'm still kind of irritated because, like I said, after episode 2, I was honestly going, I don't know if I want to continue watching, but I did. And I was like, okay, like, all right, okay. Then episode 6 happened. And I'm like, okay, see, this is what I want to see. And then the finale happened. And well, you heard me. So that's currently what I think of season 2. I know, not a lot of people liked it. Uh, but we'll see what ends up happening because this got renewed for a third season. But like I said, what they said the third season might be, it's just like I don't know. So we will see.